Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you want to catch this story and plenty more like it, make sure you follow our channel. Seriously, your support means a lot to us. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop a comment below. Let's get started. They discovered the lost Ark of the Covenant and the body of Christ under the pyramids, the buried secret. Have they really found Jewish artifacts buried under the pyramids? And what's the story behind this British scientist who shocked the entire world with his bizarre discovery, claiming he knows the exact location of the Ark of the Covenant and the body of Jesus Christ? According to him, he's got solid scientific evidence, undeniable proof, that they're hidden inside a secret chamber under the Egyptian pyramids. The moment he made this announcement, the whole world went crazy. Newspapers in the Star Countries started attacking Egypt, even demanding the return of what they claimed were their buried relics. But is this discovery actually real, or just pure fantasy? And if it's real, what would happen to the world if it was actually uncovered? What was the Egyptian government's reaction to such a bizarre claim? And what role did the famous Egyptologist Dr. Zahi Hawass have in all of this? Today's file is one you'll definitely want to follow because it's explosive. I'm Ayad Abdel Monsef, and here's another one of our most controversial cases. For over 4,000 years, the so-called people of the Sabbath have been searching for their lost treasure, the Ark of the Covenant. They believe it holds an unmatched spiritual power so great that angels themselves once carried it on their shoulders. When Prophet Moses passed away, he left the Ark with them, but they eventually lost it. Ever since, they've been searching everywhere for it, sometimes even seizing lands that didn't belong to them and displacing their people, just because they believed the Ark was buried there. Meanwhile, others have been searching for the real tomb of Jesus Christ. And in the middle of all this, a British scientist suddenly comes forward, claiming not only that he knows where Christ's tomb is, but also where the Ark of the Covenant is. So, where is it? According to him, under the Great Pyramid in Giza. Media in the Star Country treated this like a matter of national security. For days they talked about this astonishing discovery. Even more shocking, the man behind it was preparing to sue Egypt to return the relics to their rightful owners. This made it clear the matter was far more serious than anyone imagined, possibly even a direct threat to Egypt. The story begins with British anthropologist Dr. Paul Warner. He published a study that, honestly, turned the world upside down. It wasn't an ordinary paper. It contained a claim that, if proven true, could completely rewrite our understanding of both religious and historical texts, shaking beliefs that have stood for thousands of years. Dr. Warner claimed to have made an extraordinary discovery. The body of Jesus Christ and the Ark of the Covenant, one of the holiest symbols in Jewish faith, are hidden in a secret location under the Great Pyramid of Giza, specifically in a mysterious spot he calls the Cave of the Patriarchs. Once his research was published, hysteria broke out. Many voices demanded an official investigation and immediate excavations inside the pyramid to verify his shocking claim. Warner described his find as the greatest secret in human history. But according to him, the problem is that the Egyptian authorities refuse to even open the matter for discussion and have done everything possible to prevent this information from going public. He says he spent over 10 years studying different religious texts, comparing the Bible, the Torah, and the Quran, along with ancient Mesopotamian inscriptions. His conclusion was wild. The Great Pyramid itself is the holy mountain mentioned in all these religions. And according to his theory, Mount Sinai, the Mount of Olives, Mount Zion, and even Mount Hira, where the Quran says the Prophet Muhammad received the first revelation, none of these are actually in Palestine, Sinai, or Arabia. No, he insists they're all actually the Great Pyramid, just described in different ways in the holy books. How did he come to this outrageous conclusion? Warner says he used advanced geological and physical scanning technologies to survey the Great Pyramid. His research led him to claim that he found a hidden passage in the southern shaft beneath the pyramid, sealed at the end by a massive stone. Behind that stone, he says, lies a double chamber he calls the Cave of the Patriarchs. Inside that cave, he claims, rests the body of Jesus Christ and the Ark of the Covenant. It's no surprise that the Star Country was extremely interested, especially in the Ark of the Covenant. According to Jewish and Christian beliefs, this isn't just an old box. It's one of the holiest objects in existence. The Holy Scriptures say it contained the stone tablets of the Ten Commandments given directly to Moses by God on Mount Sinai, Aaron's staff, and a jar of manna, the miraculous food that sustained the Israelites during their long journey in the desert. But here's the thing. The Ark of the Covenant disappeared from history thousands of years ago, along with all the legends surrounding it. And that's exactly why any claim about finding the Ark of the Covenant or knowing its location always stirs up a huge storm. And it's not just a religious storm, it's a political one too. What really made me stop and think was the timing. According to historical studies and long-term archaeological research, the Great Pyramid of Giza was built around 2560 BC, so we're talking about a structure that's more than 4,500 years old. Back then, there was no Judaism, and certainly no Christianity. Those religions appeared centuries later. For example, it's believed the Ark of the Covenant was made in the 13th century BC, about 1,200 years after the pyramid was built. So how could it possibly be stored inside a building that's more than 1,000 years older than it? As for the tomb of Jesus Christ, Christian tradition firmly says it's in Jerusalem, specifically inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. So neither the location nor the historical context matches the pyramid in any way. The funny thing is, these kinds of theories aren't new. Every so often someone pops up with a shocking secret that tries to link our ancient Egyptian civilization to certain religious stories without a single solid piece of evidence to back it up. Egyptian archaeologists have responded to these claims many times, saying there's absolutely no archaeological or scientific proof. On the contrary, the dates and hard facts prove these are just fantasies, dressed up in a religious wrapper to make them sound exciting. So, do these claims have any scientific or historical basis? Here's where the contradictions start to show. For example, Dr. Warner claimed he gave photos and scans to the Egyptian authorities in 2022, but he never published these materials in any peer-reviewed scientific journal. Nor did he show them to independent experts, something that's basic in any credible research. He even accused the Egyptian authorities, especially Dr. Zahi Hawass, of blocking his amazing discovery. But if you look at the records of the Ministry of Antiquities, you'll find they've always worked with foreign missions, as long as the work is real science and not nonsense. In fact, all the scientific teams that have studied the Great Pyramid for decades, French, Japanese, British, even American, have never found any evidence of tombs or coffins beneath it. Even the Scan Pyramids project itself made no such claims. And here's the thing. Whenever the star country's involved, you can bet there's something fishy going on. The Campaign for the Defense of Civilization says these wild claims are part of a bigger plan pushed by that country with no archaeological, historical or religious basis. The pattern is always the same. A strange discovery is announced, not to reveal real history but as a distraction, almost like a test balloon to see how people react before moving to the next step. Take Dr. Warner's case. He inserted the claim about Jesus' body right in the middle of his theory, which is guaranteed to create massive media and religious uproar. But if you look closely, that's not the real goal. The deeper aim is to prepare the ground for something much bigger, rewriting the history of ancient Egypt, especially twisting it into a Jewish narrative. Why? Because they failed in the place where they'd put all their hopes, the Blessed Mosque. They dug underneath it for decades, destroying large parts of its foundations, threatening the entire structure with collapse, all in hopes of finding the Ark of the Covenant or remains of Solomon's temple. And after all that destruction, the only thing they found was purely Islamic artifacts. When that failed, their attention quickly shifted to another place, one loaded with symbolism and historical prestige, Egypt. And that's when we started seeing a wave of strange, extraordinary discoveries, which are, in reality, completely fake, but presented to the public as astonishing truths. Archaeology expert Dr. Abdel Rahim Rihan says it started with Warner's claims, but in the future we'll see even wilder stories. For example, they might say that after the Israelites left Egypt, King Solomon secretly came back to Egypt and buried the Ark under the pyramid to keep it safe during wars in Palestine, The real danger is that many major news agencies, magazines and websites are connected to the Star Country and will promote these myths under the label of biblical archaeology, a field they've already used to falsify history in other cases, like their attempts to rewrite the history of Sinai after 1967. Even more dangerous, these falsifiers have a network of archaeologists in many countries, funded to carry out hidden excavation projects with the aim of producing fake findings that serve their agenda. Dr. Rihan even cited a book called The Kebra Nagast, or The Glory of Kings, written by the Ethiopian rabbi Nebra Idishak in the 14th century. It claims that Menelik, son of the prophet Solomon, took the ark from his father while building the so-called temple and fled with it to Ethiopia. But the most likely truth, according to Rian, is that the ark was lost in one of the wars because they failed to preserve what was written on the tablets of the law. This means the ark didn't even exist in Solomon's time. Rian says the search for the temple under the Blessed Mosque, supposedly to find the Ark, is exactly the same kind of plan as the search under the pyramid. Both are deliberate, well-funded operations by the Star Country designed to destroy sacred sites, erase the true heritage of the rightful people, and replace it with a false narrative. The new version of this plan is to claim a fake historical right for the Star Country over the pyramids, or even to credit themselves with building ancient Egyptian civilization. This would mean completely Judaizing Egyptian history. So, my friend, this announcement has nothing to do with archaeology, not even remotely. It's just propaganda pushed by certain organizations with religious and colonial goals. The religious goal, according to the Campaign for the Defense of Egyptian Civilization, is to promote the so-called Abrahamic religion, which Al-Azhar and all Muslim scholars have firmly rejected. The colonial goal is to claim that the Star Country played a role in building ancient Egyptian civilization, especially our greatest monument, the Pyramid of Khufu. All historical and archaeological evidence shows these claims are false, but there are constant efforts to rewrite our history in a sneaky way, so that our rich ancient civilization is presented as nothing more than scraps from other older cultures, especially for foreigners whose knowledge of Egypt is superficial and limited to pyramids, sand and pharaohs, without any real understanding of the depth of our history. Finally, at the end of the video, I just want to thank you all for listening, and I encourage you to follow the channel and watch our future videos.